While it's still Festival of the Arts, the Flower and Garden Festival is fast approaching, and I'm about to tell you what the Garden Rocks concert lineup's gonna look like. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name's Lindsay, aka SwishWilly, and I talk about all things Disney. So if you're into that sort of thing, please make sure you hit subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Today is going to be a little bit different in the terms of what kind of content we're talking about. It's still Disney. We're talking about the Garden Rocks concert series. However, if you didn't know this about me, I'm a big music fan, a little bit of a music junkie, if you will. So with that being said, not only will you get the names of who is playing, but I'll also let you know their biggest hit, what you can expect. Is this actually the real band under that name? We'll find out. So let's just jump right into it. There are a few things that you need to know before. So now, not all of these bands are going to be fully exactly how you remember them in their prime. Historically, the Garden Rocks concert series does have older bands in it, some that you would find from the 60s, 70s, and so on and so forth. However, they are bringing in somewhat more relevant bands around this time. The more recent bands are the ones that you'll find during the Food and Wine Festival. This is a very important thing to know. If you typically like to go into Epcot midweek, there's a chance you might miss some entertainment. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, there will be no bands playing at the American Gardens Theater in Epcot for the festival. All of the shows that are going to be happening for this festival are going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. There are also 4 different segments of the event that do not have anybody currently assigned to them. It is marked as to be determined. This can change literally at any time, so what I'm saying right now might be different tomorrow or even within a couple of hours. So I'm going to link down below the exact link where you can see all of the breakdown of everything going on if things change from this video. Currently, there are 4 listings as to be determined, so there's no bands listed there. Those to be determined dates are currently sitting at April 10th and 11th, May 15th and 16th, and 2 spots at the very end of June. So let's get down to business. Who is coming? So the very first band that is going to be kicking off the Garden Rocks Festival is the Guess Who. The Guess Who is a prime example of a band that might not be what you expect when you go to line up. Not saying they're going to be bad, but just be mindful. Randy Bachman and Burton Cummings are the 2 leaders of the Guess Who, and neither of them are with the Guess Who anymore. There is only one band member left from the original Guess Who lineup, and that's the drummer, Gary Peterson. And with that, there's been a little bit of drama with Burton Cummings and Randy Bachman in terms of that they think this is more of a cover band, but guess what? Epcot brings cover bands in all the time, so that's not really much different, but you do have someone that is in the band that is still there. Now, if you don't know who the Guess Who is, you probably know their songs, American Woman, These Eyes, No Sugar Tonight. There's an insane amount of hits the Guess Who has had over the years. Next up is Rick Springfield. There's not really much to go on except that it's Rick Springfield, so you know you're going to get Rick Springfield. Everybody knows his song, Jesse's Girl. Now, I'm not really into Rick Springfield, so for me, that's his only song, but I'm sure there's a lot of Rick Springfield fans that are probably wanting to rip me apart for it. But if you know that song, Jesse's Girl, then that's Rick Springfield. Now, the next one coming into Garden Rocks, please, I apologize if I say this wrong, but I believe this is Melina Leon. I don't know a lot about her. I do know that she is more a Hispanic artist. I'm not super familiar with that kind of music, so I don't want to sit here and pretend that I know what I'm talking about, but she is coming there after Rick Springfield. Now, next up is Mike De La Guidas. Now, I think I said it right, but I know this name personally because I am a huge Billy Joel fan. He's currently on tour with Billy Joel, and he is actually known for having a Billy Joel tribute band previous. So now that he's living his dream and he's actually touring with Billy Joel, you know you're gonna get some pretty decent music. And more than likely, a lot of Billy Joel. Next coming up is Kool and the Gang. Now, good thing with Kool and the Gang is that Kool is actually still with the gang. How you gonna do it if you really don't want to dance? I'm standing on the wall. If you don't know Kool and the Gang, they have hits like Celebration and Get Down on It, my personal favorite. If you don't know them, check them. You're probably, oh yeah, I've heard that one before. Now, Kool and the Gang does have 2 of their original members there, including Kool himself, and unfortunately DT passed away last year, so he will not be with Kool and the Gang. But like I said, you have 2 of the original band members, including Cool. Alright, next up is the orchestra with former members of the Electric Light Orchestra, also known as ELO. Now, a little bit of band drama happened, which is why they're now known as the orchestra, because the band broke up in 1986 due to the lead singer not having any interest anymore. The drummer, Bev Bevan, he wanted to continue and he made ELO Part 2. So after all this legal action and all this stuff happened with the name, he changed it simply to the orchestra. So you do get Bev Bevan, however, that's the only part of the Electric Light Orchestra you're getting. So you are going to probably get those ELO hits. Just don't expect the same vocal because it's not. The original lead vocalist is actually back and active with Electric Light Orchestra. Like I said, band drama. Next band coming up is one that I'm really excited about. I wish I was going to be there when they were there, and it's the Spinners. If you love soul music, you know exactly who the Spinners are. They have their song I'll Be Around, they have the Rubber Band Man, and they have the Ain't No Woman Like That One I Got. I don't know, sorry, I had to. That's embarrassing. Can't tell, I'm a very, very, very big fan of soul and Motown and that whole era, so the Spinners are solid. There's currently only one member of the Spinners touring with the Spinners, and that is Henry Fambro. Also, a fun fact for you, the Spinners dropped an album last year. Now we're gonna move over to the Pointer Sisters. Now everybody knows the song I'm So Excited. That's the Pointer Sisters. There are a plethora of Pointer Sisters. Now, unfortunately, Bonnie Pointer did pass away a couple years ago, so we know that the lineup would be slightly different. This is actually kind of a cool lineup. So you have Ruth Pointer, Ruth Pointer's daughter, and Ruth Pointer's granddaughter. So you still have the Pointers, however, it's not so much the sisters anymore. But it's still very, very cool, and I would highly recommend that you go check them out because it's just a very cool generational story. The next one coming in is one of the bands I told you about that's slightly more relevant, not super relevant. People are a little bit more familiar with them if you're not really into that 60s and 70s kind of thing, and that is Blue October. Blue October has typically done the Food and Wine Festival, so it is interesting to see them on this lineup. So they're new to this particular festival, but not new to Epcot festivals in general. If you don't know who they are, probably their biggest song is Hate Me Today. I think that's what it's called. Maybe it's just called Hate Me. Hate me today, hate me tomorrow. That band. Next band coming in is Boston. Now, if you follow Boston, or if you are just a music historian, then you know that we unfortunately lost Brad Delp back in 2007, which was extremely sad. I don't think anybody really expected it. That being said, they're still going to be in Epcot, and they're actually going to be having Tommy DiCarlo on vocals. Now, if you are an Eagles fan, this one's going to be pretty fun for you. This is Don Felder. Now, Don Felder was of the Eagles, so of course he's probably going to be playing a lot of Eagles songs, and he should, because he wrote a lot of the hits. Yep, that's right. He wrote Hotel California. So you know, you know that you are going to get a good show out of this one. However, the vocals that you know for the Eagles are not his. Vocals that you would be expecting to hear for the Eagles actually came from Glenn Frey and Don Henley. Unfortunately, we also lost Glenn Frey a few years ago, so you know that he will not be there, and Don Henley just won't, because it's just a Don Felder, but you know it's going to be good, like I said, because he is the mastermind behind songs such as Hotel California and Take It Easy. Alright, now next up is Starship. So if you are a music buff, then you already know where I'm going with this, but Starship was also known once as Jefferson Starship, but before they were Jefferson Starship, they were Jefferson Aeroplane. With having 3 band names, you can imagine they went through their fair share of band members. So it's really hard for me to tell you exactly who's going to be there and who's not in comparison to what you're expecting, because this band kind of spanned over a bunch of years. Then they have a hodgepodge mix-up of their band members. But we do know that the Starship coming, it is Starship featuring Mickey Thomas. So that there, you know Mickey Thomas will be there. Now, Mickey Thomas was there since the beginning of Starship. He was there for Jefferson Starship, but he was not there for Jefferson Aeroplane. But lucky for you, the hit that you know best is We Built This City, and that included Mickey Thomas. So it is hard to say if you're going to only get Starship songs, if you're going to get Jefferson Starship, and or are you also going to get Jefferson Airplane. you don't really know because this band is all over the map. Next up is a singer from Brazil. I don't know a lot about her other than the fact that she is from Brazil, and I do apologize because I'm probably not pronouncing her name right, but it's Claudia Leite, I think is how you say it. L-E-I-T-T-E. Again, I don't want to pretend that I know a lot about this artist because I don't, so I highly recommend a quick Google search if you're interested in that. I think it's a very cool thing that they are diversifying the music a little bit more in these festivals. Next up is Berlin. Now, the hit that everyone knows from Berlin is Take My Breath Away. You know the Take My Breath Away. That one. And the great thing with this one is that you're going to have the same lead singer that it's always been. They also released an album in 2020. The next one is Toby Mac. All I know about him is that he is a Christian rapper. I have never heard his music. I'll probably start listening tonight because I'm intrigued. Yeah, so all I know is he's a Christian rapper and look out for him. Next up, we have Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Probably the biggest hits from Blood, Sweat, and Tears, at least in my mind from what I'm thinking right now, is Spinning Wheel and You Make Me So Very Happy. The unfortunate thing here is that nobody in Blood, Sweat, and Tears currently is from the original lineup. So you will see something a little bit different. It may feel like a cover band to some people who were maybe big fans of Blood, Sweat, and Tears back when they were in their heyday, but needless to say, I'm pretty sure you're still going to get a kick out of it because they do have some great songs. Now, next up, we have the Commodores. Now, if you know anything about the Commodores, you know that you're not going to get the actual Commodores because Lionel Richie has not been a Commodore in a very long time. They do still have Walter Orange and William King, so we do have that. Both of them were with the Commodores alongside Lionel Richie. What's really tricky is bands that have hits and then their lead singer goes and has a just as successful, if not more successful, solo career. It kind of muddles in the brain what song is whose. So I will tell you, the song Brick House, that is the Commodores, as well as 3 Times a Lady, which is one of the ones that's like a little bit more tricky. 3 Times a Lady came out a little bit closer into the time where Lionel Richie was about to leave the Commodores, which makes sense because that song could also easily just be a Lionel Richie hit. I think the Commodores are still going to be a pretty good show. Okay, and the next one is the band Ambrosia. Now, I don't know a lot about Ambrosia, but what I do know about Ambrosia is that the current members right now, there's only one vocalist that you may recognize the vocal from. That's Joe Puerta, so I'm not 100% sure exactly how strong his vocal was in the big hits. Like I said, I don't know a lot about them. I do know some names of the band, but not a lot in general. The song that sticks out to me for Ambrosia is How Much I Feel. Then you have the one and only Flock of Seagulls. Very, very prominent in the 80s. They have that, and I run so far away. That's, I think, one of the only songs that I'm like super familiar with Flock of Seagulls. Now this one is actually really cool. I really want to see them because I will be in Epcot when this happens. Thelma Houston is going to be there. Now the song that you know from Thelma Houston is Don't Leave Me This Way. Not only did this album chart at #1 in 1977, she also won a Grammy in 1977 for Best Female R&B Vocal. Next up is the Little River Band. Little River Band has had many years under their belt. In the late 1970s, they actually toured quite a bit with Jimmy Buffett and the Eagles. They actually opened for the Eagles quite frequently. So if you saw the Eagles in the late 70s, you probably saw Little River Band. Now the songs that I think are the most well-known for Little River Band would probably be Reminiscing and Lonesome Loser. I know it doesn't sound like a very nice thing to say, but Lonesome Loser is a fantastic song. All right, next up are my little Canadian boys out of Montreal, Simple Plan. Again, not really an older band, they're not really a newer band, but I guess they're still pretty relevant. So we have Pierre, Chuck, Sebastian, and Jeff. David recently left the band. I know he was like hot and cold for a little bit with them. He's officially not with Simple Plan anymore. But if you don't know Simple Plan, they had the song I'd Do Anything, I'm Just a Kid, Perfect, Addicted. I could go on. But again, I have a very soft spot for these boys as they are my little Canadian French boys from Montreal. Then we have Herman's Hermits featuring Peter Noon. Very weird to say featuring Peter Noon, as Peter Noon was the original vocalist for Herman's Hermits. However, he did leave the band in 1971, came back in 1973, and then left again. So when they tour and they bring him in, or they perform and they bring him in, it's Herman's Hermits featuring Peter Noon. Otherwise, it's just Herman's Hermits. But you can't have Herman's Hermits without Peter Noon, in my humble opinion. Songs that you'll know by them: Henry VIII, you'll probably know Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter. So yes, so if you are a Herman's Hermits fan or you like Peter Noon, definitely want to check out this show. As well, if you don't already know this, Peter Noon does have a show on SiriusXM. This is not sponsored at all by them, but he does have a great show. It used to be on 60s on 6. That channel no longer exists, but it's called 60s Gold now, and it's on channel 73 on XM Radio. So the last announced band that is coming to the festival is Plain White T's. Again, a more relevant band. And if I'm going to be completely honest, this is one that I would personally skip, but that is simply because I heard their song, Hey There Delilah, far too many times when I was on, I think, my senior year of high school, maybe the next year out, but it was just way overplayed for me. I know a lot of people that love Plain White T's. However, that song haunts me still. You know what, that's just me. They have a huge fan base for a reason, so if you like Plain White T's, definitely check them out. They are the last one to be announced. They will be playing there in June, so definitely check them out. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you liked this weird like music history / Disney update. I know it's a little bit not normally what I do, but hey, you got a little bit of a taste of something else that I love besides Disney. Again, thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, and make sure you definitely hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you never miss any of my videos. Have an awesome day!